Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
As parents begin to look ahead to the upcoming school year and work to ensure their children get the best education possible, one school that has been recognized for its excellent programs is the Triad Academy. The Academy's director recently stopped by our studios to talk about their work with children dealing with dyslexia and other learning abilities, as well as the importance of a good education for all students.
Carrie Malloy, welcome to North Carolina Now.
Thank you, Shannon.
You are the director of the Triad Academy, which was founded in 1999. First of all, tell us a bit about the mission of the Triad Academy and what makes it different from other educational opportunities in the Triad.
Triad Academy is a school specifically for students with language-based learning differences. So our children come to us with a diagnosis of dyslexia or related disorder, so LD in reading, written language. Some of our children have the label of central auditory processing disorder or dysgraphia. So our goal when our students come to us is to quickly close the gap between their current achievement level and their good, strong cognitive potential and get them back to a mainstream classroom.
Your program is based on the principles of Orton-Gillingham instruction.
Yes,
what is that, and how is that different from what we would see in a traditional classroom?
It is very different, and hopefully we'll see some video in a few minutes that will help you understand that. The Orton-Gillingham approach was developed in the 30s by Samuel Orton, who was a noted neurologist, and Anna Gillingham, who was a noted educator and linguist. And for years we had anecdotal evidence that showed that this was truly the premier way to teach dyslexics how to read and write and spell. And the good news is we now have about 30 years worth of brain-based research that shows a phonetic, multisensory, structured approach to teaching the English language is absolutely non-negotiable for dyslexic students. And unfortunately, even teachers who come out of graduate programs with master's degrees in reading have very little understanding of the structure of the English language. So we have to do enormous amounts of training for our faculty.
Let's take a look at some video that does show this approach in action at your school.
That's great.
Tell us what we're seeing here.
So this is Parker Kelly's primary grade classroom. Many dyslexics have difficulties with numbers and letter reversals, and this is just a simple drill she starts her Orton-Gillingham lesson with to help sort of reinforce the way that the letter B and the letter D are formed. And sometimes they'll just simply name the letters and we don't have sound there, but we'll hear the letter, the phoneme or the sound as well. This is a more advanced Orton-Gillingham class. This is Carrie Pusey's class of 6th graders. And at more advanced levels, we teach children the syllable types that determine the vowel sounds in a word. So they were doing a little sort, looking at the 6 types of syllables. Here again, phonological awareness is something that's often difficult for our children. So Parker's kids here are listening to her. She's stating a word or a part of a word, and they're determining whether the vowel sound is long or short. And just to keep it engaging and multisensory, they were using a little floss water to swat whether that was a long vowel sound or a short vowel sound. So much of what we do is interactive. They see it, say it, hear it, do it concurrently. And that helps things get into long-term memory.
We also have a second piece of video that shows how you integrate multidisciplinary approaches into your lessons as well. Tell us what we're seeing here.
This is the Renaissance Club, which is our 6th grade social studies class, and we teach history on a continuum from beginning of prehistory in the Cave Club up through the Renaissance Club, and we go more to textbook learning by 6th grade. Here's the Tar Heel Club, which is our North Carolina history class, and you see Dolly Madison there and Catherine Reynolds. So the children, it's an arts-based immersion style approach. They literally live a time period in history, and this is their North Carolina Heritage Garden. They've all of those seeds are indigenous to North Carolina. This is Cave Club, and I'll tell you, it's just magical to watch these children when they live this time period of history for an entire year. They really master sophisticated vocabulary, and their knowledge base becomes second to none because they're truly engaged in living that time period.
What type type of results have you seen in your students?
Fabulous results. On a very basic level with their reading and written language, our average gains are about 20% a year. Our kids typically come to us reading written language 2 years below grade level, and we are very successful at kind of closing that gap in a couple of years. So it's very affirming to see kids, and oftentimes we'll see kids make 3 and 4 years gains in their reading and written language in a year's time. So that makes it very worthwhile for us. And with regard to academic clubs and that knowledge base, there's some strong research showing that these are the kids who leave high school with more content knowledge than the average child who sort of uses a textbook approach. So we're strong believers in what we do, not just because we love it, but because we see strong evidence that shows that it works.
How large is your student body, and what type of need is there here in North Carolina for this type of academy?
Well, dyslexia affects at least 15% of the population, and people are surprised to hear that. And again, it's the kind of difference that runs a gamut. So some of our kids are profoundly involved. Some of our kids are reading on grade level, but their cognitive ability is so high. Many of our kids are twice exceptional, so they're cognitively very gifted. They have very high IQs, but they're reading on grade level. Their spelling is poor, their written language. So if you look at that continuum, it's 15 to 20 even % of the population. So we serve 60 students maximum. We generally have 55 to 60 because we have a rolling admissions policy. But if we were a school that was affordable to all, we would have 1,000 students. It's unfortunate, as a private school, we are dependent on tuition income and donations. But if this could be available to every child who needs it, we would be multifold in size.
What does it take to operate the academy and to keep this approach to education going?
It takes an enormous amount of commitment from our faculty. With our student body of maximum 60, I have a faculty of 15. So you can do the simple math and see student-teacher ratios must be low. And research is very clear. When our children, from a remediation standpoint, are in groups larger than 4, we're not going to get the results. So you can see it takes enormous amounts of money that are all sort of put into human resource. We don't have the lovely bells and whistles that so many private schools have because we support our mission. It takes a dedicated staff. My faculty is unparalleled. Many of them have personally been affected either with their children or themselves personally affected by dyslexia, so they are very committed to what we do, and many people are attracted to us because of the training we do in the Orton-Gillingham approach. I've had people move from Charlotte. I have a tutor moving to join us from Florida this year because she is trained in Orton-Gillingham and wants to continue her training. So we really are a pretty special little place.
If our viewers want to learn more about Triad Academy, what do they need to do?
Well, our website is triadacademy.org. There's a wealth of information there. We really made a commitment to make it something that's educational for all parents. So the reading list, early markers of dyslexia can be identified at age 4. If you do this early, before 3rd grade, the chances of catching up are so much greater than as children age. So we really, on our website, have information about early markers, some reading parents can do. So I would encourage people to go to our website.
Carrie Malloy, thank you so much for coming and sharing all of this information with us.
Thank you very much, Shannon.
Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.